The metaphysical Matt SYDAL versus the machine Brian Cage. Hello everyone, Castle95 here. Tonight we're going to talk about the trilogy of matches between Matt SYDAL and Brian Cage in Impact Wrestling. Matt SYDAL was the undisputed X Division champion and no one has come close to beat him. But Brian Cage was finishing his world tour of destruction, and the final stop of that tour was Matt SYDAL in a title match for the X Division. First we have a promo from Matt SYDAL, the first time he acknowledges Cage after trying to convince him to drop his opportunity and become a disciple of Matt SYDAL, but Cage didn't care about that. So we had Matt SYDAL versus Brian Cage on Impact Wrestling, first time ever on Impact. I don't know if they have collided in the Indies before, but maybe. I like what Matt SYDAL had to say here. He says, "I see things from a higher perspective, and I know under all that strength, on the outside that's just a facade, because inside I saw weakness. I could have shown him the path to inner strength." Then he says, "I know my path is the path to enlightenment, and when you're on that path, the universe conspires in your favor." Of course he was referring to Congo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs helping him out. But then the match happens. And yeah, the difference between these two guys is awesome. The contrast I really enjoyed because Matt SYDAL is all about the spiritual side, saying the inside is the most important part and live in peace with the world and the universe will conspire to your favor, whatever. And Brian Cage is just chaos and destruction. He's the machine. He doesn't have feelings. He doesn't care about the universe. He doesn't care about spiritual dimensions. He wanted to walk right through Matt SYDAL and get the championship. That's all Brian Cage cared about. And I like how Brian Cage can't wait to put his hands on Matt SYDAL. Like, he doesn't, at this point, he doesn't care if it's Matt SYDAL or if it's other guy. When he beat Lashley twice, he didn't even care. He didn't even acknowledge that that was a big upset for someone that's new in Impact Wrestling. Like, the guy only wanted gold and win matches. He hasn't taken anything personal, you know. But here in this match, after Congo Kong intervenes and all that stuff, Brian Cage starts to get mad at Matt SYDAL. But even then, he doesn't really take this too personal. It's just a match, you know. Brian Cage doesn't care. The only time we've seen Brian Cage acknowledge his opponent and actually caring about it is with Desmond. He shook his hand and said like, "Alright, you're good, kid." Whatever. So that door is open. Maybe Brian Cage and Desmond will cross paths in the future. Here you can see that Matt SYDAL was slowing the pace, you know, running around Brian Cage, using the ropes for coverage, which is smart if you're across the ring from Brian Cage. Then Brian Cage is just brute force. SYDAL lands on his feet, but then the elbow to the face. And this part is so cool. I think the selling in Matt SYDAL is just so perfect. Look the synchronization between these two guys. That was awesome. Selling Brian Cage as really the machine, but Matt SYDAL has his third eye open, so he surprises Cage with a tiger kick right to the face. That was so cool. Yeah, there's a reason why Matt SYDAL has been the champion for so long and no one has become close to beating him. Not even Petey Williams, not even Desmond Xavier. Although Austin Aries pinned him, but for the Grand Championship, and then Fantasma pinned him in a tag team match, but then Brian Cage beat Fantasma clean in the ring. Anyway, so Brian Cage is manhandling Matt SYDAL in the middle of the ring. Then Jacobs and Kong appear. Apparently they have nothing to do with this match. And I like the surprise here because we're like, oh wait, what are these guys doing? They haven't been involved with Matt SYDAL or the X Division ever before. I mean, they took out Johnny Impact and we haven't seen much from them apart from being kicked by Moose all across the arena. So yeah, it was a surprise. Then Matt SYDAL finds his way around Brian Cage with a lot of kicks, the axe kick to the shoulder, but I like how the brute force of Brian Cage is enough to break Matt SYDAL's strategy, at least in this first match. Look at that deadlift suplex, bam, in the middle of the ring. SYDAL avoids the F5, and I like this because when Matt SYDAL was trying to convince Brian Cage to relinquish his title opportunity, he received an F5 in response, so now he knows how to counter that move, you know. Oh, and Brian Cage breaking the kick with an axe handle. when this exchange is really cool. He stops the Rana in the middle and then buckle bump to the outside. And in the end, Kong interrupts. I look at this military press. It was so awesome. Kong sends Cage to eat the stairs. The count goes to 10. And I like this. I thought it was smart. You know, they wanted to give us SYDAL versus Cage at Slammiversary. And this is weeks before Slammiversary. So they needed a reason to make this, you know, last. And a mini feud again with the Machine versus the Monster. I thought it was a good idea, and I actually liked it. And you know, the door is still open. With the door that could mean Matt Sydal working with Jimmy Jacobs, and who knows what that could mean in the future. Maybe they are going to use that now that Matt Sydal is to the back of the line again after Slammiversary and losing his rematch. And then that promo he cut last week on Impact was kind of weird, saying, you know, I still have a plan, and Matt Sydal hopefully will get involved in something long-term real quick in Impact Wrestling. Then we go straight to Slammiversary with the promo and the video package before the match. Right after Brian Cage just beat the Monster, he was more than ready to challenge Matt Sydal, and Matt Sydal has no way to go. Like, he had to face Brian Cage, and Matt Sydal saying, I'm adding the spiritual dimension to the X Division. Matt Sydal saying, when you're in the ring with Matt Sydal, you come face to face with your true self. I'm going to find that weakness in Brian Cage. The Matt Sydal that can beat Brian Cage at Slammiversary has been unleashed. My heart, my soul, and my spirit gave me the X Division Championship. So basically he said the X Division title I didn't choose the X Division Championship. The X Division Championship chose me and is not leaving me. And saying Brian Cage thinks everything is mechanical. He says he's a machine, but we live in an organic world. That's not how things work. And what's important is what's on the inside. And I'm going to show him, you know, what the third eye open is all about. And this match was important because it was not only about athletic superiority, but it was about Matt Sydal's way of thinking, like his way of life. If he fails, it means the way he's looking at things is not correct, or maybe the universe doesn't want him as the champion, and the thing that he was trusting has now turned his back on him, you know. So if Matt Sydal had to win this, because if he loses, that will mean that either the universe is not on his side anymore, or that all that namaste, third eye open thing is a lie, and the Machine was the better man, well, the better machine, and he just destroyed everything that Matt Sydal believes in, you know. So that's what made this match really, really cool. And you can see the exchange during this match with Matt Sydal using the ropes, using ringside to his advantage, going to under the ring, then using Brian Cage's momentum to throw him over his head. That was really, really cool. The way Matt Sydal uses all he has at his expense to beat Brian Cage, but Brian Cage then breaks the strategy with brute force, like against the barricade, and that belly to back on the apron. No, I like how this match went back and forth, and this was the second time these two, you know, cross paths in Impact across the ring, and Matt Sydal was prepared for Brian Cage, but also Brian Cage was prepared for Matt Sydal too. A lot of more counters that we see. I like the evolution of these two inside the ring. And look at this, the upside down for Matt Sydal, and then showing off his athleticism upside down there, and then they repeat the spot with Brian Cage catching Matt Sydal, deadlift, then trying the follow-away slam, but Matt Sydal was prepared because they did this before, you know, again, breaking the kick with an axe handle, then going for, I don't know what kind of move this is, but it's so cool. Then the combo in the corner, finishing with the German suplex, Matt Sydal landing on his face, and then the exchange using the rope. Again, Matt Sydal avoids the F5, he was prepared for that. Then he goes for a Rana. Cage again catches him in midair, but then he doesn't go for a buckle bomb because Sydal was prepared, and then he lands on his feet. Cage tries a Rana, and then Matt Sydal converts it into a power bomb in the middle of the ring. So I thought that was cool. In this match, we had reference to their first match. I always appreciate that the pump handle, and then tries a buckle bomb, but Matt Sydal was prepared again, and more and more kicks. I like this combo for Matt Sydal. Kicks to the leg, baits in his rival. Brian Cage is expecting another kick to the leg. You can see he even moves his hands like trying to counter it, but Matt SYDAL sends a kick right to the face and then turning the page. Matt SYDAL tries the shooting star press, goes for the tornado claw, SYDAL ducks, tiger kick, but this time after the tiger kick, Cage doesn't go to his knees, but he returns with a tornado claw. And then this spot was beautiful, really perfect execution. Look at that, vertical suplex into a rana, into a pin attempt. Beautiful, beautiful exchange. Then Matt SYDAL from the top rope, Brian Cage catches him in a vertical position. Then Matt SYDAL tries a victory roll, almost got the win there. And then surprised Cage with the knees again. Remember the first time Matt SYDAL strike that knee on Brian Cage's face was when Jimmy Jacobs and Kongo Kong went on the ramp. He was distracted and then bam, right in the mouth. Then this is where the universe conspires against Matt SYDAL. Damn, that was so scary. Like, he landed, that could have ended really, really wrong. And even Brian Cage puts his feet up, like, and Matt SYDAL is fucking dead at this point. Then drill claw in the middle of the ring, boom, and we have a new champion. So yeah, this match was important because it was a big defeat for Matt SYDAL. And like, what is he going to say now? His philosophy, his way of seeing life, of living life, has been defeated by a machine that doesn't have feelings, that doesn't care about spiritual stuff. And I loved the post-Slammiversary promo about Matt SYDAL. Matt SYDAL saying, "I did my best, I gave everything I had. What did I lose?" He didn't know what he was missing at that night. Then he says, "I lost a material piece that represents something, but that thing that the X Division Championship represents has never left me. It stays right here, right between my third eye." He says, "Brian Cage, you still think that this mechanical thing is how things work, but you are mistaken, and the people that think that I had a bad night at Slammiversary, you are mistaken as well. I learned some lessons. I grew, I faced the challenge. I did not let myself down. All I did was learning. That's how things happen in a natural war." He says, "Nature seeks a place where everything is in tune. So I'm confident that nature will return things to the most harmonious state, and I'm going to be a 2-time X Division champion. Namaste." So yeah. So Matt SYDAL is like, then when after losing this rematch, he will accept that, well, maybe that this is the plans that the universe have, you know. Maybe I'm up to other things now. Maybe the universe doesn't want me as the X Division champion anymore. So I think that was a tough defeat for Matt SYDAL to accept, and for his character, this could do a lot for him, really. Open doors for a new stories, a new Matt SYDAL, new way that Matt SYDAL will approach his challengers, or, you know, next rivalries that he will have. He was close to getting to Brian Cage's head, but he didn't. He couldn't. Nobody could have done that. Nobody has been able to do that up to this point. Like, Brian Cage doesn't care who you are. Brian Cage is not going to fail for some mental games, because up to this point he hasn't challenged someone that have become a real threat to him, like in a physical plane. Like, when we talk about brute force and athleticism, nobody can match Brian Cage up to this point. That's why only brute force has get Brian Cage out of problems. You know, he has solved all his problems in the ring with strikes and with power moves. No one has actually put Brian Cage against the walls and make him, you know, get angry really and have to think about a strategy, have to think about maybe a different approach. Not even Lashley could do it, not even Kong could do it, not even Matt SYDAL could do it. So that, I like that. And I have no doubt that Impact will get more experimental with Brian Cage. Maybe some new rival will finally get into Brian Cage's head, and we could see a different Brian Cage that's pushed against the wall, and now he has to do things different. And now you can see more reference to their previous match when Cage catches Matt SYDAL from the Meteora and stomps him against the ring post, and then the Meteora on the ramp. By the way, I love the ramp. I love the stage. We haven't seen this kind of a stage in years, really, and I think this opens doors for really crazy spots like this. Maybe they are going to do more like this, because they are going to be live in the Rebel Complex again the 12th of August. So yeah, a lot of crazy things will happen. Then we can see another shades of their previous encounter, where Cage this time gets the Rana on Matt SYDAL perfectly. And this pump handle move, this just looks awesome. Like pump handle someone, drop, then Brian Cage with this, then Matt SYDAL with the slice, then just a plancha, a splash from the top rope to the back of Brian Cage. And this is awesome. Like he keeps kicking the leg of Brian Cage. He was again going to trick him into getting kicked in the face, but then Cage was ready, turns it into a dragon screw leg in the middle of the ring. That was so cool. Follows up with a German deadlift, and then the 619. Like, are you kidding me, Brian Cage? What is wrong with you? Then the pump handle, but Matt SYDAL was prepared, lands on his feet. Again, this is the third time they crossed paths in the ring, so both were ready. Oh, and Matt SYDAL never really applied his finisher. You know, the finisher which defeated Pete Williams and Desmond Xavier and Ishimori. Cage never failed for that. And then they go back to that vertical suplex into a Rana. Matt SYDAL got Brian Cage twice with the same counter. So yeah, that's cool. But Cage finally gets to apply his F5. I mean, he couldn't do it in the first match. He couldn't do it in the second match. But then in the third match, in the rematch from Slammiversary, he gets the F5 in the middle of the ring. And Matt SYDAL again surprising Cage with the knee to the face. Then he goes for the kick to the face that he couldn't apply earlier in the match. Goes for a page turner, but Cage was ready and receives him with a tornado claw. And then the landing from Matt SYDAL was beautiful. Like the guy on purpose landing on his left shoulder and his neck. Look at this sick selling from Matt SYDAL, dude. That looked terrifying. Like it looks almost as if he just broke his neck in the middle of the ring, then drill claw, and Brian Cage retains. So who in the hell is going to stop Brian Cage? And that's it for this kind of recap, I don't know what you guys would call this. I can't wait to hear your opinions on this. Maybe, what do you think about this series of matches between these two? Which one was your favorite? Who do you think is going to challenge Brian Cage next? Who could possibly beat Brian Cage at this point? And of course, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and also tell me, what do you think is next for Matt SYDAL? Of course, obviously no spoilers, please. Tell me your opinion, and that'll be it for tonight. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.